Hi everyone, I wanted to touch base with you because we're wrapping up Unit 2 and we only have 1 week left in the semester. You guys have been doing a great job. There's so much reading and work to do, but you all have been keeping up, which is very good. I want to touch base on a few items. The first one has to do with wrapping up Unit 2. As you can see, you have one online assignment left and you have quizzes close on the 15th and your test for Unit 2 opens on Sunday and Monday. I want to talk a little bit about your projects. And before we go down to Unit 3 to talk about how you submit them, I want to talk about your projects in general. In this class, you've had two assignments called checkpoints, checkpoint 1 and checkpoint 2. Those checkpoints are designed for me to see how you're doing on your project. Some of you took the feedback I gave you on your first checkpoint and you fixed things. Other people just submitted the same work. I want you to go back and look at that feedback. I gave you that feedback so that you can use it to do as best as possible on this assignment. If you ignore the feedback I gave you, your score on the project will be lower than you probably would like. This is a more difficult assignment for some of you because it's different. Some of you, because of your majors, are used to looking at diseases a certain way. And I'm asking you to look at these diseases in a different way. And that's why I wanted to do these project checkpoints so I could see how you were doing and I could give you feedback. Usually, people are used to looking at diseases from a physiological standpoint. And you have to do that in this class, but you also have to look at the historical aspects of it. You also have to look at social determinants of health. All diseases are impacted by those social determinants of health. And when you start to look at those determinants, it should become very clear to you that there is disparity in health. And there is some innate racism in our healthcare system, and in our society, and in our political system. So I'm asking you to look at that as well, which is different for a lot of you. I'm also asking you to look at the total person with the disease. I want you to look at not just the physiological aspect of the disease, but emotional, social, spiritual, financial. I want you to look at all of that, as well as looking at how that disease impacts the significant others of that person. In healthcare, it's very important that whenever you look at a disease, that you look at the whole person and how that person lives so that you can actually try to address the disease in a way that's going to be most effective for that individual. Finally, I'm asking you to talk about your role in working with that disease and that population. So please look at the feedback I've given you in online 6 and 9 so that you can see what you're missing and what kind of details you need. If you have questions, I'll check my email a couple times over the weekend just in case you need to, you're trying to find information that you haven't found yet. So one more thing before I go on to Unit 3. If you look at the syllabus, your two lowest online assignments are dropped. So if you're really feeling stressed at the end of the semester and you have strong grades on onlines 1 through 10, then you don't have to do 11 and 12. They'll help you with the test, but if you just want to look at them and think about them in regards to the test for that unit and not submit them, that's fine. Look at your grades on your online assignments to see if you're happy with what you have. And if you are happy, you don't have to do 11 and 12. The two lowest assignments will be taken out of your grade. And so just keep that in mind. The class is on 350 points. So I just take out the two lowest assignments. It might increase your average a little bit. So let's look at Unit 3. In Unit 3, you're going to post your disease to the discussion board by Monday the 17th. As soon as you post them that night, I'm going to go in and I'm going to look at them to see if there's any problems. So for example, if you have an audio file that's not working, I want to be able to email you and tell you it's not working so you have a chance to fix it. I want you to go in and watch the diseases on the presentations, the projects in your discussion board, in your groups. I want you to do that on the 19th and 20th. Also, on the 18th and 19th is when those online assignments are due, if you want to do those last two. So on the 17th, you will post it. On the 18th and 19th, you'll review them, the ones in your discussion board. On the 19th, you will post the correct number of questions, which are described in the discussion board. By the 20th, you'll post the correct number of answers, which are also listed in the discussion board. And on the 19th, you have to submit the scores of the project. You are scoring all the peers in your group. I do this so that you can see your peer feedback and see what your peers think about your work. Having your peer feedback is really important. I take off all identifiers. So for example, if I were scoring Susie Q and I gave Susie Q a poor mark and I wrote down the reasons why, Susie Q would not know that I was the person who gave her that. I copy and paste all the scoring tools, the scoring that you give, I copy and paste them into one document, and then I send that to each of you. You will not see who says what about you in your presentation or your project. You will only see the scores in the comments. Also on that you have the quizzes that are running up into the 20th and your test is on the 21st. All your other tests have run for 2 days. This is only going to run on the 21st. If you feel stressed and you need an extra day or two to study for the test, that's fine. If you cannot take the test on the 21st, I would expect you to take it on Monday, the 24th in the morning. The semester ends on the 21st, but I know that it can be very stressful as we wrap up the semester. So let's look at the discussion board very quickly. So here is, that's not it. Here's the group presentation. You're going to post your presentations here if you're group 1. It tells you that by the 17th you post your presentation. The 18th to 19th you watch the diseases in your discussion board. I'll fix that spelling. If you watch other ones that you're not assigned to, there is extra credit on the final test about that. On 119, you'll post the required questions. Post one question to 4 people in your group. And 120, answer all the questions posted to you above, and I'm going to change that a little bit. On the 19th, you also submit your grade forms. So that's what it looks like. I have to tweak this a little bit to make it better. You'll go in, you'll hit presentations, and you will hit create thread. You will then browse your files, and you'll choose whatever you want to do to put in there. Again, I will look at it to make sure it's okay on Sunday night. Also, in the discussions, just to show you, at the very top, it says questions about your final project. No one has asked any questions yet, but if you have questions as you're wrapping up your project, please put them here instead of just emailing them to me, because I'm pretty sure if you have a question, other people in the class have that question also. So we're wrapping up the semester. You have a little bit of Unit 2, Unit 3, and then it's time for the projects and the exams. When people do these projects, I'm excited to grade them because they're very interesting and it's better than just reading papers. Students also find that they become more engaged with the material when they do the projects versus just writing a paper. And I hope that you enjoy them and learn from them as much as I enjoy them and I enjoy grading them. So take care, and we'll touch base again next week as we get closer to the end.